So, sound check, sound check, sound check. Standard commentary voice, standard commentary voice. Chance commentary voice, chance commentary voice. Big chance voice, big chance voice. All good? The mid-season window has slammed shut in the NPL Women's Victoria competition, and that means the sprint for the finish line is well and truly on. Round 13 of the NPL Women's Victoria competition, coming to you live and loud from Guinness Steel Stadium here at BT Connor Reserve, as Alamein FC look to shore up their position in the top four away against a Preston Lions outfit looking to make a charge for those playoff places and pursue their hope of going one better than last year when they fell in the grand final. My name is Joey Lynch. Thank you ever so much for the pleasure of your company this evening on the NPL Victoria YouTube page. Live and free. Make sure you subscribe, be a friend, tell a friend to get them subscribed, as well as we await what should be an intriguing battle between two sides that have been bolstered by the mid-season transfer window. Maybe Tanaka starts for her new side, Preston. Well, her new old side, Preston. She signs from the Wellington Phoenix, having earned an A-League women contract with the Lionesses last season. Rosie Curtis, meanwhile, starts for Preston as well, having joined from Melbourne Victory, last playing with Burundara in the 2024 campaign. For the visitors, Miranda Templeman starts in goal, mid-season pickup from the A-League women. Started 6 games for Perth Glory during the 2024-2025 season. She's one of 2 changes to the goalkeeping ranks. Yes, both sides making changes between the posts for this game, as Sophie Dean comes into the 11 for her 5th start of the campaign for Preston. Started in round 5, 7, 8, 9, and now here in round 13 as Maggie Byrne moves to the bench. She is one of 4 changes to Dan Foden's starting 11. As mentioned, Tanaka and Curtis both come into the lineup as well, as does Georgia Henderson, who missed last week but will be looking to, well, back up some of her goal-scoring form that she found in that big round 10 win over Brunswick that Preston had. And, well, maybe auspiciously, she missed round 9 against the Burgers, and they got a comprehensive win over Juve upon a return. So, if you're a fan of omens, maybe that's a faint one. Elsewhere for Preston, Eltalevsky, Miri Nishimura, Emma Checker, Eliza Amendolia, Mizuho Yamada, Valentine Percy, Grace Johnson, and the aforementioned Henderson and Curtis rounding out the 11. As it is the hosts wearing their red strips, kicking from right to left of your screen that get us underway. Visiting Alamein in their deep dark blue kits, kicking from left to right. As mentioned, they'll be starting with Templeman in goal. In front of her, Stella Bugis, Chinatsu Shidara, Jess Shilton, Dakota Tyson, Savannah Anastasopoulos, Paige Clemenson, Zoe Horton, Ashley Lefebvre, who joins during the mid-season window from the Bentley Greens. Again, another player who actually rejoined, having left Alamein during the off-season, but she's now back, and after coming off the bench last week, she starts. Neve Dustin and Analia Kopoulos starts as well. So handy additions for both sides. Leakopoulos, another one who's crossed over to Alamein from the Bentley Greens. As Alamein just unable to combine there deep on their defensive left flank and get that one out. So it will give Preston an early throw. Percy lays it off, and then the early long-range effort is just going to be watched over the crossbar by Templeman. Preston trying to spring the trap with their press, whilst Alamein bypassed the initial wave. Just having a bit of a battle to get it over the halfway line, and it's one that they're not going to be successful in as Preston take it away. Amendolia sends it to the back line. Fine defended from the front by Horton. Shadara high ball forward. Not the best defensive header. Now Alamein looking to spring forth. Just before Clemenson could get a telling touch on it, it's knocked backwards. And Sophie Dean makes the claim. Checker. Loses her marker. Clever back heel for Yamada. That'll be Tanaka working on that left flank. Sliding straight back in. Got 10 goals in 18 games for Preston during the 2024 campaign, which was enough to earn her a contract with the Wellington Phoenix, where she bagged her first ever A-League women goal during the 24-25 season across 19 appearances. Anastasopoulos plays the way she's facing. Ball in dispute in the midfield. And Yamada uses her body smartly to ensure that her side can have the throw in. One that Checker, one of the iron women in this Preston side, has played every minute of every game. She takes it. Henderson just can't bustle her way through. Yamada, left-footed ball to the top of the box. Not the best one, but Alamein have made a bit of a hash of the clearance. The recover. Anastasopoulos, dangerous ball central. Real battle for it in there, as Alamein look to clear their lines. Nishimura across the right flank. Preston looking to reload and come forth once more. Percy can't wrangle that one in. There will be a throw-in. Grace Johnston across to take it there. Yeah, the mid-season window has come and gone. Quite a talented back four being deployed by the Preston Lions. You've got Grace Johnson at right back. Rosie Curtis and Emma Checker in the middle of the park. And Mizuho Yamada on the left. The aforementioned Yamada. Henderson with a header and then just whacked over the crossbar. Close. Tanaka. Make a goal-scoring return to the Preston Lions. Flashing warning signs early for Alamein. There have been plenty of them as they look to come out against this back five. Forgot to mention El Talevski there in the middle of the defence as well for Preston. Stalbugis closed down quickly. Preston really bringing the heat in these opening exchanges. And what is a chilly night out at BT Connor Reserve, but not as cold as it can get out here in Melbourne's north. Not much wind to speak of, which is helping things. Tanaka. For Nishimura. Thought about the shot. Instead she'll send it out to the right. Johnston. Ball back across the face, but just behind Valentine. Percy. Curtis got her body in there. Mondolia couldn't come up with it. Now potential transition for Alamein. But the pass from Paige Clemenson just slightly wayward, and that will be enough for the hosts to repulse the danger. Dangerous ball. Just went in front of the defender and behind Tanaka, who goes and picks up the scraps. Yamada overlapping on the left. Not the best pass for her. We'll see the ball put into touch for a Preston throw-in. Checker looking for Tanaka. Alamein coming up with it. Again, there's space behind to exploit if they can get it, but the pass intended for Clemenson by Zoe Horton just not where it needed to be, and Preston take it away once more. Ishimura's pass. Valentine Percy was in the vicinity, but not close enough to really affect play. It's a heavy touch. Anywhere but here, says the Alamein defence. Clemenson's pass for Horton set her attacks she wasn't able to accomplish before Preston stole it away. Just need a bit of an extended time on the ball. Does Alamein. They're going to do a lot of defending and coming under immediate pressure whenever they try to spring defence into attack. Mondolia there, sending the ball out. Liza Amendolia continuing a run of starting every game this season for Preston. 13 and counting for the Rainbow Warrior, University of Hawaii alumni. Can think of worse places to do one's education than Hawaii. Probably feels a long way away on these frigid Melbourne nights in Melbourne's north. I'm in Reservoir. Looped forward. Leokopoulos got her body in the back of Percy. Prevented the clean possession. Preston will nonetheless gain a few yards and have another throw taken by Checker and sent central. Mondolia nipped in. Valentine Percy. Good touch to get it to Tanaka. She kept her feet. Tanaka. Claims by Templeman. Probably a harder save than it looked, but Miranda Templeman, her bona fides well established. Got down to take it. It's a bit of a hospital pass. There's been a few for Alamein thus far. Straight to Yamada. Henderson. Percy, clever back heel. Ball will spill out. And then smashed well wide of the goals. Grace Johnson with the attempt. And Foden just yelling out that she had time, which she acknowledged with the thumbs up. Yeah, this one will be going long. Clemenson, the closest player to it for Alamein. It's another turnover. Amendolia out to Johnston. Another former Perth Glory player. Well, I won't imagine she'll be back at Perth next season, but she's playing for Preston right now. Anastasopoulos wasn't able to turn and spring Alamein into attack, but Templeman comes out to claim. Appeals for a handball, waved away. Tyson knocked it back. Both sides appealing for it, and it will go the way of Alamein. Much to Macheka's disgust. Just a throw in, says the referee. Seemed a bit taken aback by the fury which greeted that decision by Macheka nonetheless. Preston weren't without the ball for long. They'll come down the left through Yamada. Now Tanaka working against Leokopoulos. Cleared away by Shilton. Just Shilton, the Kiwi, been a regular figure in this Alamein defence. Missed round 4, returned via the bench in round 5, and has otherwise been a constant in the starting 11. Cleared away, it was heading in the direction of Zoe Horton. Now she'll grab the ball and send it back central. Paige Clemenson. Just let them get away from her, and that sees Rosie Curtis clear it away for Preston. The battle is on down there. Lionesses come up with it. Johnston. Tanaka, who's come across to the right. All in looking for Percy. Couldn't get to her. High ball in again. Henderson nodded it on, but to nobody really in particular. And that'll afford Alamein the opportunity to get us restarted. Templeman taking it short to Shilton. And then it will promptly break down. Over the head of Shadara, Shilton had to get across and be strong, which she was. Danger not quite fully cleared yet. Right up until Miranda Templeman came out and took big strong chest mark to see off another Preston attack. But this accumulated pressure, this weight of possession, this weight of territory, well, it's asking questions and potentially inducing a few unforced errors from Alamein. We see there Estelle Burgess, the skipper, just sending it out for a corner opportunity, the first of the game for Preston. Chance for them to get numbers forward. Rosie Curtis coming up. Emma Checker there as well. Emma Checker's never scored in a senior NPL women's game for Preston. She got a few back when she was playing with Alamein a few years ago. Could she break her drought against her former side? Ball whipped in towards the goal line. Templeman was there, but it's last adjudged to have come off a Preston player. But Preston generally have been pretty good. Well, they've got a few talented players when it comes to the likes of set pieces. None more so than Miri Nishimura. Maybe see what they're trying to do. Miranda Templeman, very skilled goalkeeper. Not blessed with the most height in the world. So if you're going to pack bodies around her and try to induce some chaos, maybe that is the strategy that will be employed tonight. Ball fell to Nishimura, who knocked it forward. Battle is on. Eve Dusted was strong there coming through, knocked her opponent over. Alamein coming forward. Just this ball central. Anastasopoulos kept play moving. Dustin out to the left. He was waiting for the delivery in the box, but just ran out of real estate. Did the pass. Ashley Lefebvre just unable to run it down, so the attack peters out. It is such a large playing surface here at BT Connor Reserve. One of the largest, if not the largest, in the NPL Women's Victoria. Can take some adjusting to if you're not familiar with it, as this Preston 11 is. On the flip side, of course, it does leave plenty of space if you can get it behind, as we have seen Alamein threatening to do on a few occasions. So ups and downs, twists and turns if you are a visiting side. Curtis. Yamada. Tanaka. Yamada. Amendolia carrying it central. Little attempted wall pass. Valentine Percy didn't come off. Tanaka kept up to make a go of it. Clemenson had the weight of numbers against her, but she battled well, winning her side a throw-in. Alamein coming into this game third on the NPL Women's Victoria table. Level on points with second placed South Melbourne, 5 back on goal difference. South Melbourne will face the Football Victoria Academy this week with their new gaffer, named today Justin Micallef. Meanwhile, here comes Alamein. Zoe Horton steaming down the right flank and doing enough to win a corner for her side. So Alamein have been hemmed in early, but now opportunity perhaps to fashion something from this set piece. Normally Ashley Lefebvre to take. Was a regular in the first 9 rounds of the season for the Bentley Greens, full 90s across their first 9 games, before switching back to Alamein. Pretty much massive bodies around Sophie Dean's goal. It's whipped in towards the near post, met by Preston. Hoofed clear. Amendolia trying to flick it on, didn't come off. So Alamein can keep up the pressure. Lefebvre's delivery towards the top of the box, not the best. Valentine Percy cleared it away. Tanaka battling for it, but Shilton was strong. Chinatsu Shidara winding up from a long way out. Did not hit it with the kind of flushness that you would require from that distance, and it's a comfortable collection for Sophie Dean. Could almost call it a swap deal Preston made for Dean this off-season. Charlotte Prohorison leaving Preston to go back to the FV Academy. Sophie Dean leaving the FV Academy to come to Preston. There's Amendolia. Navi Tanaka back to Amendolia. Miri Nishimura. Lots of space out here on the right flank. Johnston looking up before she's eventually closed down and challenged well. Shilton knocks it clear. Checker comes up. Tanaka to Nishimura. Amendolia working the ball from left to right. The hosts didn't like what they saw. Trying to work it to the top of the box. Percy doesn't come off. Miri Nishimura from range. Just as the case was the case for Chinatsu Shidara. Up the other ends, not hit with the kind of venom or power required from that distance, and it's a comfortable enough claim for Miranda Templeman. Yamada got it to Tanaka, made the overlapping run. Good body positioning from Jess Shelton. Prevented the cross from coming in. While Alamein didn't get the goal kick they were after, they were at least able to send it out for a throw-in and get some numbers back. Henderson hit that pretty well. So an important deflection in the end. Mendolia charge it down Lefebvre. Talevski charged down. Zoe Horton going hunting. Kept up the run. Sophie Danger just knock it long where it's swallowed up by the Alamein midfield. But Horton coming back from an offside position. Had to let that one run. Allows Checker to get on the ball. Miri Nishimura sends it upfield. Tanaka. Preston ball over on that attacking right flank by the grandstands here. Percy nods at central, but it was met by Leokopoulos. You can see acres of space there. Checker's going to get there first. Zoe Horton running after her. Plenty of time for the former A-League Women Champions to get the ball to Talevski. Yamada charges forward before she's met by Paige Clemenson. Estelle Boudris getting across as well to challenge Georgia Henderson. Valentine Percy. Mandolia. Yamada. Mandolia kept up her run. Trying to carry it back inside. Estelle Boudris intercepting and winning a free kick. Shidara sends it back to Templeman. But just closed down quickly by Tanaka, forced back to Shidara. Alamein just looking to play their way through this Preston shape. And they've done all right until it just breaks down Tyson's pass. Seeing the ball turned over once more, Horton put a body into Talevski. Henderson coming under all sorts of pressure as well from Alamein. Johnston trying to keep it in on the right. Can she do so? Well, she does, and then play on is the call. Advantage signal, Tanaka. Playing it back off, top of the box. Amendolia wound up. Just had it slice off her boot at the critical moment. And that's another comfortable collection for Miranda Templeman. Alamein playing short-handed tonight. Their equal leading scorer, Emma Runnels, not on the team sheet. Had started every game bar one this season. That game was a 3-0 loss to South Melbourne, so obviously an important figure for coach John Kyrgios' side. If the 5 goals didn't tell you that already. Zoe Horton, who is out there tonight, also has 5 goals for Alamein so far on the campaign. Got a brace in their 5-1 win over Football Victoria Academy last week. Of course, scored 32 goals for Avondale back in 2023. So it does know where the net is. Well, yeah, that was at a State League 2 level. It's now made the jump up to the Victorian women's top flight. Lefebvre. Alamein look to build something, construct something in Preston side of the park. But now, Tanaka is going to seize upon it with only a couple of players between her and the goal, but the first of them, in the form of Shadara, got a foot in. Stelburgis. Clemenson. Clever footwork. Very well done from Clemenson. Horton. Takes it out to the right. Wanted Clemenson, but that's not going to make its way to her. Under hit. Johnston knocking it forward. Henderson in the vicinity. Yeah, Tanaka in the vicinity. Vicinity if one is being generous. And Alamein come up with it. Kalevsky, not the most convincing of clearances. Checker. Back to Talevsky. As he just muscled off the ball and sees it go all the way through to Shilton. For a kick won by Preston. Shilton coming through, winning the ball. Clemson trying to turn and sprint upfield. Marshalled by Checker. Dustin used her body to turn it upfield, but it was seized upon by a Rosie Curtis. Clever footwork from Estelle Burgess to win it back for Alamein. Shilton back to Templeman. Tyson came to present the short option. Instead, the pass was sent in the Burgess direction, but taken away by Yamada. Appeals for a free kick. And they're going to be heated. Foul on Tanaka by Shilton just outside the penalty area. And, well, this is a very threatening position for Preston. Not where you want to give someone like Miri Nishimura a look on goal if you are the Alamein defence. She got her first goal of the season a couple of weeks ago, did Miri Nishimura. Played a full 90 for the first time all season last week. So 4-player wall being organised by Miranda Templeman. Miri Nishimura lining up to take this one. Can she find the magic in them boots? Off the crossbar. Play still alive. Big pack forms for Alamein. Steer it away almost from Miri Nishimura. Just trying to dink it and place it underneath that crossbar. And potentially the free kick too close. Perhaps just unable to get that dip required on it. Dustin did well. Now potentially some space to operate in if they can get it to Clemenson. She'll have a task against 3 Preston defenders. Kept the ball. Zoe Horton sends it central. Leokopoulos was in there. Johnston clears it away. Was being charged down by Anastasopoulos. Anastasopoulos playing up front. She has 3 goals on the campaign, but hasn't scored since round 7 when she got a brace in a 4-0 win over Brunswick. And Alamein have sort of settled into something of a trend throughout this season. Since a bit of an all-or-nothing side, since round 6. If they've scored in a game, they've scored at least 4 times, or they've not scored at all, another 3 times, as that flag is going to go up there against Anastasopoulos. So the form guide, at least the recent form guide, suggests if Alamein get 1, they're going to get at least 2 more at some point. But when their guns fall silent, they will and truly fall silent. Nishimura's working in there for Preston before the defensive header from Estelle Bugis. Check his header. Met by Amendolia. Curtis. Ball out to Johnston, who combines with Amendolia. Chinatsu Shidara across to lay the challenge. Preston come forth once more. Can this be the breakthrough moment? No, it can't. Another pass is wayward, and it's another simple collection for Templeman. Preston enter today having scored more goals than Alamein this season. 23 to Alamein's 22. Their problem has been shipping them at the other ends. 22 conceded against Alamein's 12, explaining why the visitors are 3rd and hosts a 7th coming into tonight's game. Shidara claims that one before sending it upfield for Dustin. Tyson knocked it forward, as did Dustin. Flicked over the top by Horton. Foot race is on. Checker getting across to just sweep up. Anastasopoulos preventing the ball upfield. Well, danger continue to lurk for the host, as they've been able to figure a way to wriggle out. Shidara almost ended up controlling it for Tanaka in the end there, as Preston attacker nipped in to claim. Preston continuing to hunt for a much-needed opening goal in their quest for a much-needed 3 points. They enter tonight's game 4 points back of 6th-placed Essendon and 7 points back of that top 4 berth currently held by Boroondara. Boroondara will face a Brunswick Juventus side mired in trouble this season, down the foot in the table, so the Eagles would be anticipated to pick up 3 points in that game. Essendon, meanwhile, facing off with Box Hill United. One wonders how many new additions will be lining up for both of those sides, but particularly Box Hill have strengthened significantly in the mid-season transfer window, highlighted by Rihanna Policina, who was scoring for fun during her limited appearances for Pythagoras last season. Policina, of course, now a free agent after leaving Melbourne City. We'll see what that does for her availability as the campaign goes on. Doesn't have to worry about Asian Champions League commitments now. Tanaka playing the ball in behind. The flag is down. Amendolia trying to run in. Little spin move. Squaring it across. Low shot is deflected out. And out for a corner kick. Almost had Templeman fooled there. Johnston, having had the shot that won the corner, will now move back to the halfway line. Meanwhile, also we've got to play it down in the penalty area, and the trainer is being called for. Alamein player down on the turf. And the binoculars out, just trying to make out who it is. Templeman and Burgess. And to provide a bit of moral support alongside the trainer. Bench options available to coach John Kyrgios tonight on that. In that Alamein dugout. Well, the backup goalkeeper is Kate Bean, who started last week. Madison Van Doren, Priya Archdeacon, Harriet Lowry, Matilda Lowry, and Maximilia, who I've been told by the Alamein staff prefers to just go by the mononym, Maximilia. Something of an enigma. Couldn't find much information about where she'd played prior to coming to Alamein. Asked the Alamein staff, they don't know much either. Just know she trialled very well. So he played some social football in Croatia. That's about it. Alamein website says that her preferred pre-game meal is, I quote, half an almond. And her favourite food is the other half of the almond. How eclectic. Well, Alamein are going to be down to 10. As this ball is censored by Nishimura. Unseen Percy flew. Couldn't make proper contact with the header. Checker sends it back in, and Templeman makes an excellent claim. Fine goalkeeping. Now Preston pressing with renewed vigour. As 10-player Alamein look to get it out from their own half. Still Burgess able to get it away. Clemenson unable to keep it in. Maybe she's coming up limping slightly as well, so Not exactly what you want to see if you're of the Alamein persuasion. Already down 1. Nishimura sends it across, albeit looks like Alamein potentially about to be restored to full strength. Horton forced to hold the play up, but did well to find a teammate. Clemenson swarmed by Yamada. And in her efforts to protect the ball, just a healthy grab of the shirt. Alamein asking for permission to go back to 11. It's provided. And just Shilton, who was the player down, re-enters the fray. So the Alamein backline restored to full strength. The Alamein 11 restored to 11. And well, all hands on deck, because here come Preston once more. Valentine Percy wanted Tanaka. Can't get it to her. And then the follow-up effort coming in from Grace Johnston. Wayward. And that really has been a bit of the tale of this opening half here. Just over a minute of regulation remaining in it. And, well, Alamein, they've certainly defended, getting back and keeping out Preston with no shortage of desperation, but they have also been aided by some wayward passing, some wayward shooting from the Lionesses. Templeman having to make a few saves, but none that one would describe as really pushing the boundaries of her talent. Preston perhaps coming closer through Miri Nishimura's free kick that clattered off the crossbar, so from a dead ball rather than open play. As the fourth official just prepares, I think I heard them preparing the board to signal how much added time will be observed here at the end of the opening 45 minutes here at Guinness Steel Stadium, here at BT Connor Reserve. And it will be 2 minutes of additional time to be observed at the end of this opening stanza, so 120 seconds for one of these sides to fashion a breakthrough goal, lest they want to head into the halftime break deadlocked. Clemenson knocks it forward. Anastasopoulos lurking. That's Sophie Dean up to the task. And hasn't had a lot to do across this opening 45 minutes. Has the 18-year-old keeper. Made the claim there. Both of Preston's goalkeepers on the team sheet today. Maggie Byrne and Sophie Dean, both 18 years of age. Young goalkeepers for Alamein as well. In fact, 22 years old. Miranda Templeman, the grizzled veteran of the four custodians out here today. Kate Bean, just 20 years old, her backup. Battle for it in the middle. Comes up in favour of Alamein. Do they have time to fashion one final opportunity? Preston appealing. So that's the end of the added 2 minutes. Alamein going backwards. Not really taking advantage of it if they're being given the opportunity for one final attack. Well, but here comes Estelle Burgess in a bit of space, knocking it forward to nobody in particular. That ball rolls out. And that will be all that was written for this opening stanza here in Melbourne's North. Not sure the players realise it. Yes, it is halftime. Bit of a lull descended upon the ground there. Made me second guess myself. But no, indeed, it is the main break here at BT Connor Reserve. Dan Foden, none too pleased with some of the officiating towards the end of that opening stanza. Just having words with the fourth official, but he'll need to refocus as he heads into the main break, heads into the sheds with his side yet to find a... Let's let Alamein get out first. Welcome back, one and all, to Genesteel Stadium here at BT Connor Reserve as we prepare to bring you the second stanza of this round 13 NPL Women's Victoria contest between the Preston Lions and Alamein. And if you are just joining us, the scores remain deadlocked, 0-0 after 45 minutes here in Melbourne's North Preston, with the weight of possession, the weight of territory, spending plenty of time in and around the Alamein box, but unable to, well, beat Miranda Templeman in the Alamein goal. And really struggling to fashion opportunities that would really test the keeper either. Seeking to avoid what has been, well, seeking to avoid setting something of an alarming trend for Preston. They took the lead at home against Spring Hills. They took the lead against Box Hill in their last two games, only to subsequently fall to defeat in both of those. They have been on top in games, but proven unable to deliver the killing blows and been punished as a result. Alamein, meanwhile, well, they're still in this game. They've threatened potentially to maybe break out in transition on a few occasions, but if Preston hasn't really forced Miranda Templeman into much work in this game, Alamein have hardly forced Sophie Dean to break a sweat in the Preston goal. She's had to make a few claims, watch a few things in and around the penalty area, but nothing that would come close to testing the young goalkeeper. So both sides, having received instructions from their coaches, Dan Foden in the Preston dugout, John Kyrgios in the Alamein dugout, seeking to find a breakthrough as this second half resumes here in Reservoir. That's Alamein looking to start strongly. Zoe Horton setting it out to the right, far too in front of Paige Clemenson. And that is generally the area that the Alamein attacks have broken down. They've worked the ball into the Preston half of the pitch. They've turned and faced the Preston goal, but then the pass, looking for a player in behind, trying to work the ball into the space behind the Preston back line, just hasn't been there. The touches haven't been there. That moment of class. As again, the ball is turned over. Nishimura now for Preston. Johnston makes the run down the right. Trying to thread the eye of the needle is the Preston midfielder. Well, Lefebvre wasn't too convincing with her challenge. Dunstan working against Nishimura. Henderson was in there as well. Amendolia, who saw a lot of the ball for the Lionesses in that opening stanza, but on that occasion, the best she can muster is a turnover. Preston set up a cordon around the Alamein box. We saw on a number of occasions how they would go short in the opening 45 minutes. So Preston denying them that instead will force them to go long with this goal kick. Shidara boots it long. Headed straight back. Tanaka. Closed down quickly by Shilton. Cross goal you had. Amendolia there as well as Valentine Percy. Shilton swings the boot around. Clever little flick on Mike Clemenson. And that's where it ends. Bounces over Tanaka and Shilton, the Kiwi. Tries to get her head on a swivel and just see where the attacker was as she marshals it out, but Tanaka nipped in, kept play alive, and Alamein they have to work the ball out under a bit of pressure. They'll knock it long, sent straight back. Now potentially something in behind if Horton can bring it down. It was deflected away. The pass coming in from Dustin. Throw in for the visitors on that far right-hand side of the pitch. Stelbujis coming up to take the throw. Dustin is working against Yuri Nishimura. Clemenson has the ball cleared away in front of her by Nishimura. Another throw in. Stelbujis to take once more. The skipper gets it back. Tended cross, deflected away to Henderson. Alamein. Good urgency to win the ball back, but again the attack breaks down. Percy nods it on. Space out here on the right and a number of Preston players. Amendolia brings it down. Johnston. Fev getting across to apply the pressure. Did well to affect the cross. Shadara's turned into all sorts of trouble, and Percy hammers an effort in on goal, but had the near post covered, did Templeman. But the unforced error from Alamein almost gifts Preston the opening that they needed. Now Nishimura will have the opportunity to swing something in from the right. Now swinging right-footed effort inbound. Appeals for a push from the Alamein dugout. Play on is the call. And now Horton making some mischief. It's a 2-on-1 situation if she could square it. Anastasopoulos was there. Horton kept going. And now the pass comes, but it's behind her on-rushing teammate. And it will break down. As we talked about in this opening half, it's a huge ground by NPLW standards here. BT Connor Reserve, and potentially that just catching Alamein out in transition. Not used to the dimensions. And the space between players. Curtis sends it out to Checker. There's all the time in the world to figure out what she wants to do, which is send it out to the left. She gets it back. Now a bit of pressure coming in. Clever vision to send it over the top for Tanaka. Shilton affected the play enough to break it down. Preston throw in. Ball hurled in, Tanaka. Again looking to make a bit of mischief. Ball crashes off the post. And Alamein scramble it clear. Curtis spearing ball forward. Out to the left, sent in. Headed clear, Nishimura couldn't catch it flush. And it goes out for a goal kick. And once more, Alamein hemmed in by Preston and forced to go long with a goal kick. Shadara sends it out to Lefebvre on the left. She'll send it up the touchline, but can't find Anastasopoulos, and indeed can't keep it in play. Throw in. Taken by Curtis. Headed away. Amendolia gets it to Checker. Yamada sends it back to Checker. Nishimura. That's not the best in the world. Enables Alamein to come up with it. Tyson. Got it to Neve Dustin. Got it to her skipper. The intended return pass. Picked out. Amendolia. Henderson now. There was space on the left to operate in, but the pass just out in front of Amendolia, and the midfielder has to amble back as Alamein have themselves a throw-in. So Alamein have a throw-in front of the club rooms here. Moved clear, but it just goes behind Horton and allows Emma Checker to come up with it. Grace Johnston. Nothing in front of her, so she goes back to Rosie Curtis. Talevsky. Checker. Now, Yuri Nishimura. Telesky's pass out to Yamada. Clemenson applies the pressure to her, forces her to go to Checker. Found Henderson, but then her attempt to turn the corner wayward off the boot. Percy has Tanaka in there, but the pass is behind her. And it appears that change is being prepared. And it looks as though Valentine Percy's night might soon be coming to an end, as 44 is put up in red on the fourth officials board. Potentially a double change as it's flipped over and further numbers are added. I'll keep track of that one for you. Meanwhile, Preston set up a cordon, winning this ball back off the Alamein throw-in. From the top of the box, charged down. Johnston goes to collect. Appeals for a handball. And once it's determined that there is no advantage, those calls are heeded. Rosie Curtis to take. Johnston moves to the halfway line as Checker heads forward. As does Talevsky. Curtis measures her delivery to the top of the box. And Curtis gets forward and spears it to the top of the penalty area on that occasion. But again, Preston can't fashion it into a shot on goal. Now Checkers come forward to provide a bit of assistance to Yamada. Neither of them could win the ball. Cleared away. Both benches up and warming up. Preston's bench, you've got Jade Feeks, who's in line for her first appearance, senior appearance of 2025, if she gets on the park today. Alamein, Ellie Lamont, Summer Caponecchia, and Eva Harrington. So pretty handy bench additions for Coach Dan Foden if he does so choose to use them, which it looks like he will be making at least 2 changes. That all, both sides will be making 1 each. We await with eager anticipation to see how that plays out. And indeed, as we await the opening goal of this game. Coming up to the hour mark here in Melbourne's north. The score is yet to be troubled. Preston 0, Alamein 0. Checker hurls it towards the penalty area. Alamein get it away. Yamada battling for it. Does well to lose the first defender. Can't lose the second. Has to make do with another throw-in, which Checker will take. Lays it off for Checker. High ball in. Tanaka's underneath it, as is Templeman. She can't claim it because she was fouled. Coach Dan Foden saying that foul hasn't been paid for 70 minutes. Just checking, yes, indeed. Only 59 minutes has been played, so... Unless the scoreboard here is 10 minutes slow. Here comes Preston once again. Can they convert this weight of territory into goals? Valentine Percy, her shots deflected away. And the trainer immediately called for. As Chinatsu Shidara immediately went down in a bit of pain. Seems to have caught the ball right to the face. Which anybody who's ever played junior footy here at Melbourne can tell you on a cold night like tonight. Those errant balls to the face, they just sting that little bit more. Well, both benches a hive of activity. And it looks as though it will be Alamein that make their change first. So Matilda Lowry and Matilda Lowry will enter the fray. As will Priya Archdeacon. Dakota Tyson, one of the players making way. As is Savannah Anastasopoulos. So Matilda Lowry yet to find score sheet this season for Alamein as Shidara makes her way on as well. Freya Archdeacon, she scored her first ever senior goal for Alamein in the win over FV Academy last week, so she'll be looking to make it 2-2. So we'll see if these fresh legs for Alamein, with about half an hour to work with, can provide the spark they need to wrest control of this game back, even if it's just for a moment, and get that all-important go-ahead goal. I'm going to keep the pressure on top of the table, Heidelberg, and keep pace with second place South Melbourne. Intriguing matchup next week as Alamein make the trip to Lakeside to take on South Melbourne. Preston, meanwhile, they'll be back home once again, facing FC Bulleen Lions. Both Lioness teams this season, not... As that ball spilled away from Templeman, but it will be waved away. The ball rolled into the back of the net, but once again, because Miranda Templeman had been fouled in the build-up, no real protests of note from the Preston players for it. Preston continue to go in search of the go-ahead goal. They lost to Spring Hills last week. Lost to Box Hill the week before, desperately in need of 3 points. Not last chance saloon areas just yet. We've only just come past the halfway point of the season, but with a bit of a gap beginning to open up between the playoff places and the rest of the chase in pack. Don't want to be dropping too many points from here. And this very much will feel like points dropped for Preston if they can't go on and find something in the remaining time here. They've had all the possession and territory that they'd need to create the clear goal scoring opportunity, and yet to find a way past Miranda Templeman in the Alamein goal. Nishimura, Curtis, Johnston calling for the ball, receives it, but she can't control it. Valentine Percy calling for the throw-in, and Preston will receive it, and looks like they are set to make a change as well. Ali Lamont. She scored the opener against Spring Hills last week. She'll prepare to enter the fray. Coming in for Eliza Amendolia. Two in her last three, Lamont. And an early touch for her here. She plays the ball in, unable to beat the defender. So last year's B&F winner for Preston, trying to make that instant impact. And 13 goals for Preston last season. Only has the 2 thus far across her 11 appearances, so she's going to rediscover that goal-scoring form of last year. Now would be a good time if you're of the Preston persuasion. Valentine Percy going to hold the play up, turns it around the corner. Tanaka battling for it, and is awarded a corner. So, Miri Nishimura to take. Rosie Curtis will go up to keep Templeman company there on the goal line. Two players familiar with each other from Melbourne Victory as well. The NPLW, as the ball is sent in, can't beat Shadara at the near post. Miri Nishimura has another go from live play, but had lost track of her positioning and is flagged for the offside. So yet another attack breaks down for Preston. .67 and a bit minutes gone on the scoreboard. Yeah, at Steel Stadium at BT Connor Reserve. As Checker knocks it forward. Not the most convincing pass in the world from Leokopoulos. And Preston seizing upon it once more. Sliding challenge from Shadara. Couldn't clear it away completely. Lefebvre just skies it upwards. Shilton underneath it. Coming under fierce pressure and has to just see the ball out for a Preston throw-in. One that's taken quickly. Lamont getting a boot in and sending it, well, in the direction of the goal, but just wide of the post in the ends. But Lamont certainly bringing a bit of energy since she came on. And that threatening cross early doors, and now that speculative effort, so trying to create something. There's Alamein. Clemenson trying to get the ball around the corner for Lefebvre. Battling for it, Lefebvre, but just unable to collect that deflection before it rolls out for a goal kick. But a chance potentially for Coach John Kyrgios' side to just get set up in their shape, try to lock this in. And Zoe Horton and Priya Archdeacon get up on the edge of the penalty area, which is going to force Preston to attempt to go long. Sent straight back. Miri Nishimura did well to ride the challenge. Curtis boots it up for Lamont. Chests it down. Johnston made the overlap and run. Henderson's there as well. Tanaka can't get the ball out from underneath her feet after it spilled to her. Alamein survived. Look to transition. Foot race is on. But runs into a roadblock that is Emma Checker. Clemenson knocks it forward. Horton gives chase. Checker is there. First time clearance around her body. Appeals for a free kick from the Alamein bench. They're ignored. Henderson then goes down under the challenge from Leokopoulos, and that will draw a whistle. So, free kick for Preston. And immediately, they'll get the numbers forward. Preston searching for the opening goal. Everybody behind the ball for Alamein. Checker, left-footed pass. Looking for Lamont, appeals for a handball. And it did indeed glance off the hand of Chinatsu Shadara, who will also earn herself a yellow card. And we saw in the opening half, in a very similar position, potentially just maybe a tad further out, Miri Nishimura hit the crossbar from a free kick. And it definitely was slightly further out. On that occasion, she just was unable to dip it down. Very difficult for a right footer in these circumstances. Potentially one where you just have to back yourself and go for power if you're looking for the shot. Now she has Talevsky out on the right in acres of space if she wants to go short. But Miri Nishimura forces a fine save from Miranda Templeman. That was struck well by the Japanese midfielder. Just the right amount of touch on it, but a fine, fine save from Miranda Templeman in her starting debut for Alamein. Hasn't had to do too much tonight, despite her side being on the back foot, has Templeman, but she came up trumps there. That's why you bring her in. Nishimura. Follow-up cross. Goes out. Yamada couldn't control it. Bounce out for an Alamein throw in. Meanwhile, it sounds like Harriet Lowry has been summoned by the Alamein dugout. Told to prepare to come on. Served as a bench weapon for Alamein this season. 11 appearances thus far in the campaign. 9 of them as a substitute. And a lot of space out here on the left for Alamein to operate in. Lefebvre tried to play it central quickly. Preston come up trumps. Johnston knocks the ball out because there's been an injury behind play. Down Talevsky, down in a bit of pain. Now Talevsky back to her feet. And Alamein gives the ball back. Checker moves play across to the left. Shilton. Once again, doing the defending for Alamein. There's a change will now be made by the visitors. Harriet Lowry indeed will enter the fray. Placing Estelle Burgess, who hands off the armband to Chinatsu Shidara before making her way off on that far side by the club rooms here at Estelle Stadium at BT Connor Reserve. There had been a bloke in there just watching the footy rather than the game, but he seems to have gone, so hopefully catching the remainder of this one instead. Curtis with the important clearance. Lamont just unable to keep that one in. And with just over 10 minutes of regulation remaining, plus whatever stoppage time we get, this game remains goalless. Preston 0, Alamein 0. Shadara now wearing the armband. Looks to put her boot through it. Sent straight back by Henderson. Lamont flew. For grabs on the right. Johnston giving chase. Working against Archdeacon. Alamein had the numbers, but not the passing. Both sides want it, and it's going the way of Preston. Feels for a foul throw against Curtis by the Alamein dugout. Henderson keeps the play moving, gets it back from Tanaka, but falls over before she can get the telling shot away. Punching the turf in frustration. Preston coming closer to that opening goal in these last few exchanges. Still unable to find a way through. Leakopoulos tries to clear it away, couldn't find a teammate. Henderson nods it on. RB Tanaka. Nishimura just able to keep things going. Lamont in a live wire since she's come on. Johnston, ball across, too close to Miranda Templeman. Neve Dustin came under immediate pressure, just had to keep play moving along. Yamada. There's Tanaka on her left, that's where it goes. Valentine Percy waits in the middle, flicked on. But Lamont can't arrive before Templeman claims. Clemenson swarmed, but held them off. Got the pass away. Shilton knocked it forward. Till Laurie was just unable to retain clean possession. Talevsky. Curtis had to lunge out to control it. That's going to allow Archdeacon to nip in. Her attempted squaring ball is cut out, but it will be a corner. And Alamein, who have struggled to get the ball even into Preston's defensive third in this game, especially this second stanza, now have themselves a corner kick. In the 83rd minute. Just Shilton hammering up from the back line. What a moment it would be for her to score her first goal for Alamein. Ball in. And a foul has been found. All in behinds, but Lamont is straight into an offside position. And Preston preparing a double change as they go in search of this go-ahead goal. Time rapidly running out on their efforts. Summer Kapanachia and Eva Harrington coming on. And Percy makes way. As does Georgia Henderson. So Summer Kapanachia has 1 goal to her name thus far on the campaign. It was against Bulleen back in round 3 at the Veneto Club. Lamont. Mami Tanaka had to go behind herself for the ball and she couldn't control it. Rhea Archdeacon. Looking for a teammate. Finds one. Heavy touch from Leokopolis. Allowed Miri Nishimura to steal it away. Curtis plays the ball forward, but then it's just going to scoot underneath Eva Harrington. Alamein throwing. Maximilia preparing to enter the fray. She'll slot in up top. She's come on in place of Anna Leokopolis. So Maximilia, this enigmatic attacker for Alamein, can she provide them with the breakthrough? Harriet Lowry, the substitute, looking to get down the right. Nothing in front of her. Need Dustin from well out. And Sophie Dean just content to watch it carefully because it was dipping, but watch it deposit itself on the roof of the net. He's hurled central. Teleski comes up with it, taking it away from Clemenston. And Alamein winning it back. Archdeacon sending it across to Matilda Lowry. She can't retain possession. It's played forward, but only as far as Jess Shilton. Preston have themselves a throw-in just inside their own half. Game may be beginning to stretch a little bit these last 10 minutes. Fatigue setting in. 88th minute here in Reservoir. Maximilia using her body well, ensuring that her side can have a throw-in. Maximilia with the back heel, but not on the same page as 2 of her teammates who just watched the ball roll between them, splitting them straight down the middle. Free kick for Alamein. Both players wrestling for it. In the end, it's adjudged that Ellie Lamont had more of her opponent's shirt than vice versa. There's Jade Feeks and Alamein await their summons. 89th minute. Mary Nishimura will make way. Stan Foden recalibrates his attack. Maximilian, meanwhile, trying to just bustle her way through. Certainly provided a presence since she's come on. Clemenston had the balls get behind her as Preston launch forward. Bit of space to operate in, but they can't be clean with it and they can't be good with their positioning as it's offside. As the 90 has expired here at Kennesaw Stadium at BT Connor Reserve, 4 minutes of added time will be observed in this one. 4 minutes for either side to find the breakthrough. And after being hemmed in for much of this game, Alamein potentially finishing with a bit of strength. Maybe a tired Preston backline. Maximilia bringing a different physical presence to leading the line since she's come on. Zoe Horton's dropped in, plays a sort of second striker 10 beneath her. Preston sends it out to the right. The ball is deflected to the top of the box. Lefebvre will wind up. Lefebvre forces Dean to work, but relatively simple for Sophie Dean. It's a shot on target for Alamein. Eva Harrington knocks it upfield, but it's going to come straight back. Maximilia working. Maximilia surely wins the game for Alamein. She says her favourite pre-game meal is half an almond. Well, she only needed half a chance. And Alamein, after being under siege for almost this entire game, have taken a lead in the 91st minute. Thanks to Maximilia. Her first goal in Alamein colours, and surely it is a decisive one. What a remarkable turn of events. Football, hey? And all of a sudden, Preston now staring down the barrel of a third straight loss. They will hurl themselves forward with renewed vigour, desperately in search of an equaliser. They lost to a last gasp goal from Maya Markowski last week against Spring Hills. And history potentially about to repeat unless they can produce something in these last few exchanges. Ball in from Checker. Got away from her, Templeman claims, and will just extract every second that she can. Play on is the call. Alamein wanted a free kick. Instead, they'll have to get back and defend. And they've defended doggedly all night, but now there's an added bit of desperation in there as well. Maximilia coming across. Flicked on by the striker. There's nobody there to meet it, but precious territory. Gain for Alamein. Sophie Dean's clearance. Couldn't find a teammate, but it did find the hand of Matilda Lowry. Free kick Preston. Booted forward by Curtis. Checkers going to give chase and just keep it in. Chinatsu Shidara chests it out. Everyone get in the box is the cry from Dan Foden. All hands on deck. Sophie Dean, the keeper, is being sent up. Preston in desperate search of an equaliser. All 22 players in the Alamein penalty area, bar the corner taker. The ball is sent in. It is not a good corner. Goes straight out. And Alamein will not look to take advantage of Sophie Dean coming up. Instead, they will take their time. Send this one long. Moments away from 3 points. If they can hold out just a little longer, but here comes Preston once more. Forward is the cry from the dugout. Curtis sends it out to Checker. Maybe Tanaka can't chase that one down, and it'll be a goal kick. Preston are running out of chances. Running out of seconds. Eavesdropping on the Alamein dugout. I think they're saying there's 40 seconds left. Chinatsu Shidara boots it away. It's sent back once more. Maximilia gives away the free kick. Sophie Dean instructed to take the free kick. All 10 Preston outfielders ordered into the penalty area. Dean knocks it forward. There are players at the back post, but they can't meet it. And it is full time. And Alamein steal this one. Thanks to the substitute striker, Maximilia, off the bench, onto the score sheet with her first goal in Alamein colours, and it proves a crucial one, a stoppage time winner to keep their pressure on Heidelberg atop the table. They now move to within 3 points of the league leaders. Meanwhile, a third straight loss for Preston, as their hunt for a playoff berth becomes increasingly fraught. They had the territory today, they had the possession, but just unable to fashion the kind of chances that they needed to beat Miranda Templeman in the Alamein goal. Alamein hardly created anything either, but they created the one chance that they needed to secure the victory here at Guinness-Steel Stadium at BT Connor Reserve. A big week of NPL Women's Victoria football commences with an Alamein win, 5 more games to come this weekend, which will all be live and free on the NPL Victoria YouTube page. Every game of the men's round, as well as select Doherty Cup and Nike FC Cup clashes available on the Football Victoria YouTube panel. Be a friend, tell a friend, make sure that you're subscribed and they're subscribed to all of them. For now, though, my name has been Joey Lynch. An absolute pleasure to have your company this evening as Alamein take a 1-0 win over the Preston Lions. Thanks and success.